Hello everybody. Today we are going to see the reading from 11.3 Maintenance of Systems. Let's begin. Once the information system is successfully installed and started showing result, the next issue is to maintain the system. System maintenance involves more than 80% of the total life of a software product. This shows the importance of maintenance. System maintenance is the task of monitoring, evaluating, and modifying the information system to make necessary desirable changes during the total life cycle of the software. Organizational requirements as perceived during the analysis phase changes. The system has to accommodate all such changes to make the system current and useful for the organization. Maintenance of system also takes care of the failure and shortcomings that arise during the operation of the information system by the end user. During the implementation phase, one person from the system maintenance group is nominated to collect information from the user for maintenances. Maintenance activity involves collecting requests for changes, transforming these requests to changes, designing the changes to be incorporated, and implementing the changes in the system. Any maintenance activity comprises the following four key stages. Help desk. The problem is received from the user through a formal change request. A preliminary analysis of the change request will be done, and if the problem is sensible, it is accepted. Analysis. Managerial and technical uh, analysis of the problems are undertaken to investigate the cost factors and other alternative solutions. Feasibility analysis is done to assess the impact of the modification, to investigate alternative solutions, to assess short and long term costs, and to compute the benefit of making the change. Implementation. The chosen change/solution is implemented and tested by the maintenance team. All infected components are to be identified and brought into the scope of the change. Unit test, integration test, user oriented functional acceptance tests, and regression test strategies are provided. Release, the changes are released to the customer with a release note and appropriate documentation giving details of the changes. Different maintenance activities. Once the system is fully implemented and starts operating, the maintenance phase begins. When the user starts operating the system, initial difficulty diminishes as the user learns to operate the system. The maintenance may include modification of system due to changes in business environment, government regulations, new business ventures, and enhancement of functionalities. The majority of software maintenance activity is concerned with evolution derived from user requested changes. A program that is used in a real world environment necessarily must change or become progressively less useful in that environment. As an evolving program changes, its structure tends to become more complex. Extra resources must be devoted to preserving the semantics and simplifying the structure. The following are the different types of maintenance activities. Corrective maintenance. This type of maintenance is to rectify design, coding, and implementation problems detected after the implementation of the system. This kind of problem generally surfaces immediately after the system is implemented. This type of problem needs immediate attention as it hampers the day to day work of the end user. Proper planning and interaction with the end user during system development process can minimize corrective maintenance. In spite of all these kinds of maintenance, these constitute more than 60% of total maintenance effort. Corrective maintenance is very much undesirable. It does not do any value addition to the software. Care should be taken to see that normal business operations are not disturbed because of it. Adaptive maintenance. Changes are needed as a consequence of upgraded versions or changes in operation system. Hardware or DBMS adaptive maintenance is required because business operates on a social environment and need of the organization changes as organization ventures into new areas or as government regulation policy changes, etc. Maintenance of the software to adapt to this kind of changes is called adaptive maintenance. Unlike corrective maintenance, this kind of activity adds value to the information system and affects a small part of the organization. This activity is not as urgent as corrective maintenance as these changes are gradual and allow sufficient time to the system group to make changes to the software. Perfective maintenance. This kind of maintenance activity involves adding new functionalities and features to the software to make it more versatile and user oriented. Sometimes changes are made to improve performance of the software. In some cases, this maintenance can be thought of as a new development activity. This adds value to the information system and is required to stay ahead of the competition. Adaptive maintenance, perfective maintenance, and preventive maintenance. So, here you can see a figure 11.1 comparative figures of maintenance effort. Okay, 75% corrective maintenance is there. And what is preventive maintenance? Changes are made to software to make it easily maintainable and to prevent any kind of system failure in future. This reduces the need of corrective maintenance, as corrective maintenance could lead to hamper normal functioning. Preventive maintenance is done periodically to ensure that the probability of system failure is minimized. Preventive maintenance could increase the volume of transactions that can be handled by the system. Preventive maintenance is done when the system is least used or not used at all. This does not add value to the system, but certainly lowers the cost of corrective maintenance. Now comes the issues involved in maintenance. The responsibility of the software development team and clients does not end once the product is released for implementation and installed. If software is not properly maintained, a well documented and cleanly designed system can decay into a poorly documented and ill maintained system. Additional vulnerability may get introduced during the activity of maintenance. In a network environment, a bug has ramification beyond just poor performance of functionalities. A bug can open up avenue for a hostile intruder. It is very important that the software should be easily maintainable. Factors like availability of source code, availability of system manuals, etc., are very important for maintainability. One of the most important issues is the cost factor for maintenance of software. There are a number of factors that influence the cost of maintenance. Maintenance activity may sometimes introduce new bugs while rectifying it. The following are various factors which affect the case of maintenance. Volume of defects, the inherent errors/bugs that are found in the system after installation. Cost of maintenance increases with increase in volume of defects. Number of customers. More number of customers means more requests for changes in the system after installation. Availability of system documentation. The quality and availability of system documentation is vital to carry out the maintenance. Poorly written system documentation increases the cost of maintenance. Most often, the programmers for development are different than the team of programmers for maintenance, and the latter often finds it difficult to understand a program written by the former. Structured programming and program documentation are very useful in maintaining the system. The following are various issues in software maintenance. Organizational issues. The maintenance activity must align with organizational objectives. Most of the software maintenance activity is resource consuming and it has no clear quantifiable benefit for the organization. Outsourcing the job of software maintenance. Process issues. Software maintenance requires a number of additional activities not performed at development stage. Impact analysis and regression tests on the software changes are crucial issues. Technical issues. How to construct software that it is easy to comprehend is a major issue and the technology to do this is still not available. Still, the following are some guidelines for the same. Translate the problem into software terms to decide if it is viable or not. Determine the origin of the change request and suggest solutions. All solutions are investigated to determine that they are applied to all software components affected. Make a decision on the best implementation route or to make no change. Ripple effect propagation is a phenomenon by which changes made to a software component along the software life cycle have a tendency to be felt in other components. Legacy system. A legacy system is typically a very old and large system which has been modified heavily since it started operation. Legacy systems are based on old technology with very little or no documentation. Dealing with a legacy system can be very hard. Solutions for the problems mentioned above relating to a legacy system. Explore possibility of subcontracting the maintenance, replace software with a package, re-implement from scratch, discard software and discontinue, freeze maintenance and phase in new system, reverse engineer the legacy system and develop a new software suite. So here we come to the end. Let's see the summary. Implementation of system involves coding, testing, installation, and user training. System design specifications are converted to computer programs and database structures are created. The programs are tested using a code walkthrough and by creating different test scenarios. System testing is testing of the software in its totality after individual modules had been tested. Different conversion plans are discussed like software and hardware installation etc. Installation of a system is usually moving from old system to a new system. Different technology is adopted for conversion/installation like direct conversion, parallel conversion, phased conversion, single location conversion. User documentation is a written document of visual and textual information about the application and how to use it. Well designed user documentation can reduce training costs of the organization. Training of user is vital for success of any system. Training should be conducted after any significant changes are made to the system. Software maintenance is the activity of modifying the software once it is delivered to the customer depending of the requirement of the customer or to add additional functionalities to the software. Software maintenance activity in general does not provide any quantifiable benefit to the organization. Different maintenance activities are adaptive maintenance, corrective maintenance, perfective maintenance, and preventive maintenance. Out of all maintenance activity, corrective maintenance constitutes more than 60% of the total maintenance activity. Different issues related to software maintenance are technical, organizational, and procedural. So here we come to the end, and thank you for listening and keep exploring.